Give us a sense from where you sit right now, looking forward to November. What are the issues that the voters are going to rely on as they go to the polls and vote for you or your opponent?
Well, thank you, David. And just to tell you a little bit about who I am, I'm an immigrant. I came from Ecuador with my mother and my sisters. My mother brought us looking for opportunities to better our lives. And it's because of those opportunities that I'm able now to be able to run in one of the most contested districts here in the country. I've dedicated my life. I was the associate dean at the medical school here at FIU. And what we did is create a program that brings healthcare access to some of the most vulnerable areas here in Miami. And it's one of the reasons why I decided to run. And as I talk to families across the district, it's their top concern. Healthcare is becoming more and more costly. They cannot afford to get the care that they need, and they don't have enough access to community healthcare clinics around the district. So that's the top issue right now in my community.
So healthcare is the top issue. If I could just go around the streets and ask people on the street, unprompted, what do you care most about? Will they say healthcare? We're worried about getting it paid?
That's right, David. I've been knocking on thousands of doors. We've knocked on thousands of doors in my community. And I asked them, I want to know. And their top concern right now is that they cannot afford basic healthcare services. Now, just to give you an idea of some of the work that we did, this community program brought medical students, nursing students in mobile clinics to just provide the most basic primary care. And what we showed was that for every dollar that the state was investing in our program, we were able to save $15. Now, that's something that I can bring to Congress. I am ready to do that, and I know that we can do better, and it's one of the main reasons why I'm running.
So let's turn to a second issue, and that's immigration reform. It's been a very hot issue in Washington. Lots been talked about, nothing's gotten done. What is your position on that, and how is it different from your opponents?
David, the first thing that I can tell you is that as an immigrant and as a mother, it has been excruciating watching those images of those children being ripped apart from the parents at the border. They are here seeking asylum. There is an international law that allows for that. And the criminalization of immigrants in this country has got to stop. I take that extremely personally, being an immigrant myself and my family as well. And just yesterday, we heard the news that ICE took kids in one of our detention centers in Homestead that turned 18 years old in handcuffs to jail. So what I can tell you is that Curbelo has said a lot in Miami and does absolutely nothing in D.C. We need to pass comprehensive immigration reform. We need to protect our dreamers. We need to continue to protect those that have temporary permanent status here, which are Haitians, Salvadorians that are living in our community, that are actually providing healthcare services, home care, healthcare to a lot of families in my community. I am ready to take action. I know that if we win the House in November, it's going to be one of our top priorities as Democrats, and I'm hoping to earn everybody's support here, and I know that I will.
Well, it would be one of your top priorities. I appreciate that. At the same time, there's another house called the Senate, and there's also something called the White House. So if the real issue is not what you say, as you said, your opponent talks about immigration reform a fair amount. If it's not what you say, but what you do, how can you say to voters, we'll get this done? Do you really think you can get the Senate to go along with it, much less the President of the United States?
Yes, I believe that we're going to have the majority in the House in November. I believe that the Senate will be fairly close. The pressure from the people, we have seen it for the past year. People have been marching. They have been demanding for equal rights, for protections, for justice in this country. And I can guarantee you that if I'm in Congress, along with a huge list of amazing candidates that I've met in the past year, we are going to bring change to Washington. We will take action. This is not going to be just talk. This is going to be action.
As we go across the country, one of the arguments the Republicans make is the economy is doing quite well. Unemployment is very low. The economy is growing. People have more jobs. They're getting paid more. What is the argument that you have to say on the economy that there should be a switch from the Republicans to the Democrats?
David, that's a very good question. Look, the economy is working for the top 1%. We have seen after the tax cut hundreds of millions of dollars being now taken in by top CEOs, the largest companies in this country, and the families in my community continue to make less than $50,000 a year. They cannot pay their bills. So it's working for whom exactly? Wages in my community are not going up, and it's becoming more and more unaffordable to live in South Florida. You can talk to anyone that lives in District 26, District 27, South Florida. The costs of housing are going up. The cost of health care, we know that it's going up all over the country. So no, wages are not growing, and it's a problem. So maybe they're adding more jobs at a minimum wage that is not paying for families, for hardworking families, to pay their bills.
So let's wrap that all up and explain. Show us your playbook. Let's understand how you're going to beat your opponent, because your opponent did win last time, even though in your district it voted for Hillary Clinton. So he is pretty resilient.
Listen, David, let me tell you something. I am going to win in November, and here's the reason why. The people are tired. They know Curbelo says one thing here and votes a completely different way in Washington, D.C. He has done absolutely nothing to help the families in my community. And we need a representative that's going to be the voice for everyone. I have a very strong campaign. I have been knocking on doors. I'm raising the funds that I need to communicate with all my voters, and they know that they can relate to me, because they know that I have worked my entire life from the age of 15, and the opportunities that have brought me here before you right now are disappearing for everyone, and they're ready for change. And it's a different year, and it's a different candidate that Curbelo's running against, and I know I'm going to take this seat in November.
Tell me about the money race. How are you doing with money? How's he doing with money? Is money going to be important in your race?
Money is always important, unfortunately, and it's one of the things that we need to change, and it's something that I'd like to work on once I get into Congress. Money has influenced politics for too long. Of course, Congressman Curbelo has a huge war chest, and that is because he passed a tax bill that's benefiting the largest companies in this country. Now, I can tell you that I have a huge movement behind me. I have been able to raise quite enough money to be able to reach the voters across my districts so that they know that they have an option and an opportunity for change. So,
okay.